sorry, Matt, I've got something to tell you.
What's that?
I cannot perform many poems today. I'm sorry, Kevin, man. It isn't my fault, honest. I've got a note from my mum. She says she's heard about these poets and their wild anarchic ways, how they live off cornflakes and cheap red wine and stay in bed for days, how they're all Guardian readers with dangerous political leanings, how they laze about and procrastinate and neglect all forms of cleaning. She says she won't have me led astray. She thinks it's all just a daft fad. She'd rather I joined a nice little band playing death metal like me dad. So I really did want to read tonight, and I'm sorry, Kevin, man, but I'm not allowed. It's not my fault. I've got a note from me, mum. Oh, when did I ever listen to anything my mother told me to do? I will be doing it, of course I will. And I'll have lots of other poets and storyteller type people up here with me. But I'll do a couple first, just to warm you up a bit and introduce you to the dark art of poetry. You wouldn't believe it to look at me, but I do share a house with 2 ironing boards and 6 irons. You can't always use those things because there is more to life than domesticity. I suppose you have to believe that if you live in a house with a kitchen that looks like the Withnail and I equivalent has been petrol bombed, people almost stapling rubbish to the side of the bin in their reluctance to empty it, deciding what food to eat, depending on what utensils are already clean. There resides a man whose every possession is covered in remnants of jam, hair and tobacco. When the ashtrays are full, plates will do. When the cooker needs cleaning, microwave it. Bin bags of dirty socks stay at arm's length in the corner. No human should dare approach. Junk lines every wall, each space crammed with useless, unknown items that should have been discarded years ago, enough to send Kim and Aggie into intensive therapy. Who would live in a house like this? Some of the nicest people I've ever met. Thank you. You can probably also tell by looking at me that I shouldn't have children, and I'm not going to. I decided a very, very long time ago that I was never going to have a family of my own, and I don't judge anybody who does, you know. I love my friends' children, but you need to be very careful how and where you say that you love other people's children. I often, when I tell people that I don't want any kids, get this reaction where people look at me like I've just punched a kitten in the face, and I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's probably better for the kid that I'm never a parent as well. And to justify myself, I wrote this poem called 16 Reasons Why I Should Never Have Children. Because I would fight over their toys and cry if I couldn't play. Because I couldn't promise I'd remember to feed them every day. Because I'd give them a name like Dante, Space Monkey, Jacoby, Raoul, and embarrass them on purpose when I picked them up from school. Because I'd threaten them with adoption whenever they were naughty. Because I'd still pretend to be down with the kids when I was 40. Because I'd tell them to break wind loudly at important social events. And I'd make them all get paper round so I could start charging them rent. I'd buy jigsaws to keep them quiet, but I'd hide at least one of the pieces. And I wouldn't tell them fairy tales about Santa, the Tooth Fairy, or Jesus. Because I'd regularly confiscate and eat all of their chocolate and candy, and I'd dress them up in ridiculous clothes like 17th century dandies, because I couldn't justify to them why this world's the way it is. Because I couldn't look in their eyes and explain why I brought them into this. 'cause I'd rather cop off with Donald Trump than go through the pain of childbirth. And my final reason, I suggest you read Philip Larkin's This Be the Verse. Right, on a slightly more serious note, I feel the need to do this poem because my dad was actually born in Stanley. I said before, I very rarely do things my mother tells me, and this is one of those things that I did that I wasn't supposed to, but I'm glad I did. When I was 18 years old, I met my dad for the first time, or the first time I could remember anyway. And this is kind of what happened from that point. It's called Father's Day. The jester's court sorcery that caused our separation should have ceased its control half a lifetime ago, but the curse was not broken, just simply ignored, and we swore we could put the past right with hoax. Tented in pretense, barely daring to exhale, fearing we'll tear the veil of our illusion, attempting to climb behind one another's eyes like okapi calves trying to ski, we cover slips with skittish smiles. With chatter confined to trivial matters, music's played out within our first week, we speak less freely. Skirt around subjects that could sink this ship's shakedown, tease our allegiances to rival football towns, paving between them with sarcasm. My passion for that game waned ages ago, only ever checking fixtures on the evenings I know we'll depend on defensive match talk to patch up the gaps in our John Cage soundtrack. The act becomes harder to keep up. Ball drops. Talking stops. Retracting statements of substance before they've been spoken, afraid of breaking what's already broken, we play 4-minute 33's extended remix. Our time weird derbies become less frequent. Blame your disability, blame me being skint, but it's funny how you still make it to the footy and I have the money to be permanently pissed. 2 players missing a neutral pitch, unable to tackle past issues, fill rifts, dads, this game could be beautiful if we were brave enough to save it.